normal people become terrified of criminals.
Shots were just fired. Police just came out and told us, and we're headed there right now.
They become terrified of their own government.
Media Matters is threatened by Rumble's mission to protect a free and open internet. So the reaction is to deceive the public and scare advertisers. For example, on March 14th, Media Matters claimed that advertisements for Netflix, which were appearing on Rumble, had been placed on videos that violated our content policies. However, according to Google Analytics, the week before publication of that Media Matters article, there had been 0 page views of that video. This means that the Media Matters activist who took the screenshots was the first human being to actually view the Netflix ad on the video in question, though their story left the false impression that it was a widespread problem. The same is true for most of the videos cited by Media Matters, all of which were removed from Rumble as soon as we were made aware of them. It's clear that Media Matters intends to mislead and deceive about advertisements on Rumble in order to hamper free speech and harm law-abiding employers who only want to advertise their product and services. It's tortious interference. There's no reason why you can't just say, Chris and Elon, they're trying to cost you money and damage your business. Take it to the monetary issue right here. Prove damages. Let Media Matters outright admit that they're doing this and then show it to a judge.
Do we know who funds them?
Probably George Soros.
Yeah, that would be.
I think that's actually easily confirmed. There was a big article that people were sharing, but it's a nonprofit that receives a bunch of donations. He says Media Matters doesn't do anything for free. So who is funding this outrageous targeting activity? Who is paying for them to target free speech? And why are they afraid of free expression online? Speaker Johnson and Rep. Jordan, it's time for Congress to ask hard questions. Elon Musk responds saying they have a long track record of evil deeds. An investigation is badly needed. I will tell you this right now. I will place a large sum of money, I mean this figuratively, a gentleman's bet, let's say that.
Sure.
That the U.S. government is working directly with Media Matters in some way.
Yeah.
U.S. What's probably happening is government actors and Media Matters employees probably are in regular communication to coordinate their efforts and target social media platforms with allies who work for these companies. We know this is a fact that the government did this. Now, Media Matters, yet to be seen, but the government did do this with Vijay Gadde, who had regular meetings with them and gave them a backdoor, and Facebook gave the government a backdoor. The U.S. government has gone rogue in this regard. I mean, we can say they've gone rogue in terms of war. When was the last time the U.S. declared war?
They've gone rogue in basically every way you can imagine it. They don't take care of the border. They violate individuals' rights by spying on them. I don't believe that the NSA has stopped spying, even though they're supposed to have stopped collecting metadata. I don't believe they are. And the reason I don't believe they are is because if they want it, they let Google and all the companies, these big tech companies, they let them collect the data and then they just subpoena it. So their hands are clean. But if they want it, they know that these big tech companies are going to give it to them. So they're monitoring everything you do. Ring will monitor you with cameras at your house. There's cameras all over every major city. The number of individual liberties that are specifically protected by the Constitution is equal to the number of individual liberties that the federal government violates on a regular basis.
But I want to throw this in there. From the Post-Millennial, Timcast, The Benny Show, joined Babylon Bee in pledging X ad buys to fight cancel culture. We're not the only ones. A large group of people are doing this. We are putting our money where our mouth is, but let me just make sure everyone understands. When I say that Timcast is going to spend $250,000 on X to support Elon and his mission, understand we're buying ads. I'm not just giving away free money. The other thing people should understand is I am not saying that right now I will write a check for $250,000 and hand it to X for ads. $250,000 ad buy, unless specified, it could be over a year. Someone could be talking about something like 10 grand or 20 grand per month. So I outlined this specifically in my tweet saying the goal is for in Q1 of 2024 to have spent $250,000 in ads in the first 3 months and ideally $100,000 per month for 3 months. So that's what our target is. That's what we're talking about doing. Many other people are joining in. It's not going to stem the bleed of the massive advertisers pulling off the platform. But I must say this. If we believe that we are correct, we must support the organizations that we know help us keep going. You must buy products from companies that share your values. If I'm going to buy ads in Times Square, screw that. It's X from now on. Why? Well, Times Square ads were fun. We wanted to assert ourselves in the mainstream space. But if I actually want conversions, people who are going to sign up for timcast.com and become members, X is a better place to buy ads. So I will buy from X. Everybody else, if you're using Twitter, consider becoming a premium user of Twitter for $8 a month. Consider joining Benny's show at whatever membership levels he is offering. Consider joining the Babylon Bee. Consider joining Timcast.com. I don't know Andrew Tate's deal, but he's offering $1 million
and he's
per
good
month.
to advertise X on X.
Right.
Like, he's not even advertising his. I don't know if that's like, I know he said that, but he's just going to promote Twitter on Twitter.
But the reality is,
or X.
Look, if he uses his account to run an ad saying X is a great platform, you should use it, it's still promoting his account.
Yeah.
So it's like
exactly. Yeah. Like that's not really.
That's what I'm saying. Like if I run a Cast Brew coffee ad, I'm not. There are these leftists who are like, ha, these people are rushing to give the richest man in the world money. It's like, dude. We sell coffee, right? If I buy an ad...
Wait, leftists call you the richest man in the world?
No, Elon.
Oh, okay.
No, they're saying we're rushing to give the richest man in the world money. Gotcha. If I'm selling Cast Brew coffee and I spend $100,000 in ads and then sell $200,000 worth of coffee, that's how ads work.
Yeah, that's the point.
Anytime the leftists start talking about like money, you just know they don't have any idea what they're talking about, so it doesn't matter.
Also, who donates money to Media Matters? Of like, if you could donate to any charity right now,
George Soros.
But I'm saying individual because they say that they get their money. Like, there's no way like someone's like, oh, I'm just going to make my annual $20 Media Matters.
I bet there is.
Like.
This says that they don't disclose their donors.
Well,
there's a couple people who are just
philanthropynewsdigest.org says Media Matters receives $1 million from George Soros.
It was from 2010.
Right. So I can't imagine he just decided,
now then.
I'm surprised that with inflation.
Do charities not have to disclose their donors? Because that's insidious. It's a 501c3, yeah.
I don't think you're not an individual.
Is it a C3?
Oh, I thought it was. I was just looking.
C3, yes. C4, no.
Like they have to an individual itemized list of every single person?
Yeah, so Google search this, Ian. Media Matters 990. Those, and you should be able to pull up easily because they're public. It's public record. If you want to be tax exempt, then your expenses have to be in the public record. Now, that doesn't mean you'll know exactly where their money came from. It'll show you how much money they make, how much money they have. It'll tell you the salaries of their top staff and employees and things like that.
The 990 will?
Yep.
But they don't have to. People can donate. Because I think what's happening.
I think it has to be public who donated. I'm pretty sure. Because 501c4s you don't have to disclose.
And also, what else do they do other than like? I know they do. They just are like
they're a conspiracy.
The whole thing's just truth in media.
What do you
like what is their
whole thing is making up lies.
Yeah, but that's what am I saying? What is their stated objective as a charity? Just to police truth
the right or something. I do think it's funny that like when they run an article that just quotes me, I'm like, okay, thank you. Like,
yeah,
I said that.
But I'm like, do they track like all the dishonesty on like all like corporate media?
No,
just on the right.
Yeah,
they originally
or like just people on Twitter.
They formed as a counterweight to the Conservative Media Research Center, and it was like in 2004, and they were known. Well, they were known for their criticism of and what it's quote war on Fox News end quote. So yeah, it was basically it is the anti.
It's a propaganda
media research center.
They just hate
and it's like
Rupert Murdoch.
If they don't have an enemy to go after, then they don't have a reason to exist. So they're like creating enemies to
they have the agenda that they have is just a progressive agenda. So it's like, if Catholics are getting together and they're doing Catholic things, you can narrow down like the things that they're going to be doing because they're doing Catholic things, right? Like stuff that Catholics do, things that pertain to the religion. If you're a progressive think tank, then you can kind of narrow down where they're going to be spending the money and who they're going to be trying to slander and trying to harm their credibility and stuff because they're progressive. So, I mean, they're going to go after, obviously, Timcast, and they're going to go after Daily Wire, and they're going to go after Ben Shapiro, and
there must be,
they're going to go after Tucker Carlson. But anyone that doesn't have the narrative that comes for the progressive, narrative in mind, they're going to go after him.
Yeah, there must be so little work being done at this place. Like they just must be chilling all day trying to figure out what to do.
I mean, I know that they have people that just scour the internet and watch like conservative shows and then make posts and say, look, this is why this person's bad. This is why this person, you shouldn't listen to him. Essentially they give out talking points.
Yeah.
It's like if you watch the content that Media Matters puts out, you as a progressive know the people you're supposed to hate. You know why you're supposed to hate them. And you have the surface level arguments against the things that they're talking about, whether it be the daily stuff, like we're a topical show here, they would have a topic topical show that would be talking about whatever the most recent thing that happened that they have to discredit, or whether you're talking about the more philosophical stuff, like, okay, why is it that like you want to make sure that trans people are represented in women's sports, or trans women can play in women's sports? They'll have those kind of talking points, and essentially it gives people the arguments that they can take into public spaces like Twitter or school board meetings or whatever, and they have you'll know the argument that you're supposed to make, or that's going to be the most effective. It's just an information distribution network is what it boils down to.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.